It is that time. It is that place. It is our boxing talk. I'm your host, Mr.A. This is the RT Boxing Show. The ready talk boxing. I'm ready. You're here, so you're ready. So let's talk it. Man, the flyweight. Julio Cesar Martinez was getting all the attention. Well, this motherfucker, like I said, I always said Julio Martinez was a knockout waiting to happen. And I think the newly crowned WBO champion, Junto Nakatani, is just the man to make that shit happen. Now, before we get to that unification bout talk, let's talk about the bout in which he won the belt, Guillermo Magaramo. In the breakdown, like I said, I knew Nakatani. I didn't know Magaramo. But in the breakdown, I said the movement of Nakatani was going to be too much. Even though he didn't use the ring a lot, like heavy movement, he did enough steps here, changed the angle to make. He kept doing enough small half step backwards using the ring to make the aggressive of Magaramo fall into him. There's one point in the fight where Magaramo went for a body shot and Nakatani just moved, and Magaramo momentum, the fact that he's just so heavy footed and leaning over his knees, the momentum took him forward and he just kept going. Nakatani turned around Nakatani didn't expect him. He didn't know that was going to happen. Magaramo went too far where he couldn't get countered. He just stumbled too far. And I said, even though I picked a split decision, because I thought these guys have, decent pop, I said if he could push Magaramo on the back foot, this fight's a wrap. And sure, right before he got knocked out, he started pushing him on the back foot. You saw any moment throughout the fight when Magaramo did get pushed to the back foot, he really had no answers. He was just lost, covered up. His offense, you can't really say he did much on offense. I didn't see much. He tried. He was making an attempt, but it wasn't nothing to like. Oh, okay. He's throwing some hooks. He's throwing some uppercuts. He was so close to him. It looked like his offense was like. It looked like his offense after a while got to a point where instead of trying to score, it was just trying to keep Nakatani just busy, my offense ain't even here to protect me anymore. I honestly thought it was gonna be it was a good fight, but I honestly thought Magaramo was gonna be a more challenging opponent for him. At least I expected the fight to look like that after round 7 and on. I didn't think the fight was going to look like that at like round 2, basically. I thought it was going to be a early competitive fight, and Juno was just the skill set that we saw from the get-go. I thought that skill set was going to be more shown, more seen, more visible. The separation between the two skill sets, I thought it was going to be brought to the attention around round 7 and on. But like I said, the whole fight with Magaramo being the pressure fighter that he was just too close, smothered his own work, over his feet, over his knees. He fell into Juno because Juno was taking the step back. I guess if you're a NBA or even just a basketball fan, I guess the term is pulling the chair. He was kind of doing that, like he'll let Magaramo get real set to the punch and then just step back, and the poor feeding of Magaramo, he wouldn't catch himself in between punches. He would just kind of like lean forward right into Nakatani. Kind of what Sean Porter does against people against the ropes, but Porter does it a little more intentional. Like he wants to smother you. He wants to be chest to chest. It looked like Magaramo was throwing himself off balance and losing balance with the step back. But as far as what's next, if this was a fight between number 1 and 3, that leaves number 2, Angel Acosta. that might be his next mandatory. I don't know what his his last fight was his introduction to the weight class, so it might be him. Because as far as the other champions, I already said in the breakdown, he has a height and reach. He has like a 2 to 3 inch height and 2 to 3 inch reach over Julio Cesar Martinez and Artem Dalikian. Marudi Methalani, he has that longer reach, but the height's of 2 inches, I believe. I just think Nakatani is going to defeat any one of these champions if they get into a unification bout. But they're lucky. They are lucky. They could use this pandemic. They could really use that as why they're not going to be quick to get a unification bout. We just saw, what's homeboy's name? Hiroto. We just saw him had to pull out of his Kayaguchi. We just saw him have to pull out of his fight for COVID. Japan is like at a level 3, real high. Of course, if there's Japanese boxing fans of the RT Boxing Show, of course you know your own country level. But for those who are just watching boxing, no champion is going to challenge Junto Nakatani anytime soon. With their COVID situation at a level 3, no one's going in and out of that country anytime soon. Not for some boxing. At least I don't see a boxer going over there. So, but if that was not the situation, the division how I know it, the champions, and like I said, I'm in this division since I created the show in 2017. I learned people as I created the show. I got into this division because I came across Artem Dalikian. My favorite style are the movers. I like how he runs, moves around the ring. I like that style. So, as being a fan of him, I think Nakatani's gonna fucking serve him up. Who else out there? McWilliams, Arroyo. That'd be a good fight because the heart of Arroyo. But we'll stick to the WBO. Sonny Edwards. I don't think so. Angel Acosta. Who else do I know in this one? I don't know too much. Muhammad Wasim. He got the same height, I believe. Nakatani's gonna have a good height advantage over some people in this division. Jay Harris. I'm just going off the names I know. Luis Concepcion. That'd be crazy if the veteran beats Artem Dalikian, because I believe that's his mandatory, or he's number 1, and our team always goes as mandatory, then some low bracket fight. Mandatory, then low bracket fight. That he sticks to that plan since he became champion. Mandatory and low budget. Mandatory, low budget. Like I said, those are the names I'm familiar with. And I just don't see those guys fucking with Nakatani. Like the only thing I see beating Nakatani, we could talk about his little flaws, and it's a lot of the big men, they do this, and I say big because he has the height advantage in it. They're used to just being out of reach, so they have a bad habit of kind of leaving a hand down and just pulling back straight up. And he does that because he's used to being a tall man. He's used to no one reaching him when he does it. So, he has a tendency, the left hand's a mid-range low, and he pulls back sometimes just straight up because, like I said, he's used to the reach advantage. And a perfect example, but his defense is better than the example I'm about to give, though, is Deontay Wilder. He was always used to just being able to pull back and not get hit. Tyson Fury was taller and longer. So when you pulled back, I cracked your ass. So, like I said, Marudi has a longer reach. So if he just pulls back and straight up like that, who knows? You know what I mean? But like I said, this is the Ready Talk Boxing Show. We're ready. I'm ready. We're going to talk boxing. And I think right now, that's what I see him as. He's He leaves his left hand a little low, and he pulls back straight up, used to being the taller man. Thank you for your time and support. This is going to be a fun championship watch right here.